You ever wake up thinking your day is going to be peaceful? Just you, your coffee, and the sound of loons on the water, only to look out your window and realize life has other plans? Yeah, that was me. One second I'm sipping black coffee on my dock, feeling pretty good about the world. The next, I hear the roar of 4 charter buses grinding up my gravel drive. Out pours a crowd, 50 total strangers, each one richer and louder than the last, hauling coolers and fishing rods like my home's turned into some all-inclusive resort. And leading the pack, Veronica Blackwell. Picture an HOA president who looks like she's about to sell you a timeshare in the Hamptons. Only she's wearing $800 heels that immediately sink into the mud. At 8 in the morning. If you're wondering if I laughed, I did. Out loud. Couldn't help myself. She bellows, "Marcus, you can't block community access. This is community property," in a voice that probably killed small animals in 3 counties. And in that moment, standing on my own land, my family's land, something in me just snapped. 18 months of her nonsense, her fake surveys, her threats, her posse of bored lawyers trying to bully me out of what my grandfather built with his own hands. Today, she brought an army. 50 people. But you know what she forgot? I'm a retired firefighter. I read property deeds for fun. You come at me with numbers, you'd better bring a calculator and a lawyer who knows what easement actually means. And if you're thinking, well, how'd it end, Marcus? Let's just say Veronica lost. Big. Her throne, her reputation, even her precious real estate license. All gone. That's the hook, right? But it didn't happen overnight. So let me rewind, because you need to know how deep this mess actually got. See, my name's Marcus Presley. I'm 45, freshly retired. Figured I'd be living the good life after decades running into burning buildings. I inherited this 2-acre stretch on Clearwater Lake when my grandfather passed. Land that's been in our family since the late 70s. The old house needed work, sure, but that dock? That was my sanctuary. I spent my whole pension, 180 grand, buying up more of the shoreline. Made it ours. Another 25,000 on dock upgrades, fish habitats, you name it. My grandfather's signature is on the deed, and so is mine. Thing is, I'm that weird guy who actually reads every line on those deeds. Call it a habit from years of checking fire codes. So when someone tries to tell me what's what about my land, I already know more than they do. There were mornings I'd stand at the end of that dock, coffee in hand, mist rising off the lake, and I'd think, this is what peace looks like. Guess I jinxed it, because peace has a price, and in Pine Ridge, that price is spelled V-R-O-N-I-C-A. When I first moved in, our little community was just a bunch of folks scraping by. 47 homes, monthly dues to fix potholes and mow the grass. Nothing fancy. Then Veronica Blackwell showed up. She's a real estate agent with a smile so sharp it could cut glass. Lives in the biggest house, white BMW always sparkling, and a talent for turning every HOA meeting into a performance. She loved to talk about our community's exclusive lakefront lifestyle, especially to people who didn't live anywhere near the water. Here's where it got weird. 6 months after I finished renovating my dock, I see Veronica showing it off to a group of strangers. They're snapping photos, discussing my dock like they're picking out curtains for their new vacation home. "Excuse me," I said, coffee still hot in my hand, "but you all know this is private property, right?" Veronica just grins. "Oh, Marcus, I was just showing the Pattersons our community's lake access. They're thinking of buying the Morrison place." There's this icy edge to her voice, like I'm supposed to thank her for boosting the neighborhood's property values. The way she laughed, patronizing, like she's the queen and I'm some angry peasant, set my blood boiling. It didn't stop there. She started scheduling community events on my lawn, giving tours to buyers, posting about shared waterfront traditions in our Facebook group. I'd find picnic tables on my grass, strangers grilling steaks, their kids jumping off my dock like it was a public pool. 3 families actually came to me angry demanding to know why they didn't get lake access after paying for it. Turns out Veronica was charging a premium, thousands extra, for houses near community lake privileges. Only, there was no community lake privilege. Just a scam with me as the unwitting host. The final straw? I came home one afternoon to a full-blown barbecue on my lawn. Fancy cars everywhere. Veronica's there with her clipboard, holding court. "And here's our premium lakefront amenity," she says, waving at my dock. I was so angry I tasted metal. It hit me then. This wasn't just annoying. This was real estate fraud. 3 weeks later, Veronica forms her lakefront access committee. It's her, 2 neighbors she bribed with promises of lower HOA dues, and a single mission: take my dock. The next event? A welcome party for Dr. Patricia Hawkins. On my property. No one asked. I found out because Veronica posted about it online, pictures and all. Saturday rolls around. I decide, fine, let's see how far they'll go. I sit on my porch, cold beer in hand, phone recording. 25 cars park on my grass. There's a bounce house on my dock. Someone's moved my fishing chairs. Veronica comes strutting over. "Marcus, come join the party. Everyone's so excited to use our community amenity," she purrs. I stand up, beer still in hand. "Veronica, this is private property. You're hosting a party here without permission." Her smile doesn't slip, but her voice turns cold. "Don't embarrass yourself, Marcus. We have traditional access rights." That's when my years of reading property law finally pay off. Traditional rights isn't a thing. If it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. I pull out my phone. "Let me share something for the county records," I say loud enough for everyone to hear. There's no recorded easement for community lake access. None. And by the way, advertising private property as a selling point, that's a license-ending offense. Now, here's the twist, Dr. Hawkins, the new resident, walks over. She's embarrassed. "I'm so sorry about this. Veronica promised me lake access in writing. That's why I bought here." She pulls up her contract. There it is, exclusive lakefront access. Fraud in black and white. The crowd goes quiet. Veronica's face turns the color of old oatmeal. I announce, "You've all witnessed fraudulent real estate advertising. This ends now." Veronica tries to turn it around, threatens to report my illegal dock modifications. I just smile and say, "Go ahead. All my permits are up to date. Maybe the county should look into your business practices, too." She storms off. For the first time in months, I feel a tiny bit of hope. Of course, that only makes her more dangerous. She calls an emergency HOA meeting. Her agenda, lakefront access equity. Translation, we're going to bully Marcus until he caves. 43 neighbors show up. Veronica brings in a so-called property law consultant, Robert Michaels. He wears an expensive suit and oozes fake authority. Michaels says implied easements may exist due to historical usage. Let me tell you something. Implied easements require open, hostile use for 20 years. No one has that here. Then he claims the county will reassess property lines. They're literally trying to redraw my boundaries. But here's where things start to crack. Dr. Hawkins stands up, confused. "Veronica, didn't you promise us legal lake access?" Frank Morrison, a neighbor I helped during an ice storm, chimes in. "Mrs. Patterson let kids fish sometimes, but nobody ever called it community property." The room starts to turn on Veronica. Then she makes her fatal error. She brags about property values, admits she's been using my dock to boost her sales. I stand up. "That's fraud, Veronica. And I've documented 18 separate listings with these false claims." The HOA treasurer, Susan Walsh, stands up, pale as a ghost. "Veronica, you used emergency funds for unauthorized legal consultations. I never approved that." The room erupts. Veronica's empire begins to crumble. 1 week later, she hits back hard. Event planning trucks show up on my driveway at dawn, setting up for a community festival. Food trucks, sound stages, banners. Veronica's invited the local news. She's charging $50 a family. I call every vendor, every reporter, the county. Turns out, she signed contracts with the HOA's tax ID, claiming she owns my land. That's not just rude, it's federal fraud. By 11 a.m., my driveway's packed. I grab my folding chair, my coffee, and I sit smack in the middle of the action, live streaming to the world. Welcome, folks. Just so you know, this festival is happening on my private property without permission. Everything's being recorded. Someone in the crowd yells, "Where's my refund?" The festival unravels. Veronica tries to talk over me, but it's too late. The crowd's angry at her, not me. And then the real bomb drops. My attorney friend, David Kim, calls. He's found records showing Veronica has been collecting thousands in amenity fees from buyers. $45,000 stolen from working families. She's listed my dock as an HOA asset on the insurance policy. That's felony fraud. If anyone gets hurt, insurance won't pay, and the bank will call the loans. People could lose their homes. Turns out, she's done this scam before. In North Carolina and Tennessee, always vanishing before the law catches up. Now she's about to bankrupt my entire neighborhood. I asked David, what do we do? He lays it out. Call the FBI, freeze her assets, tell the Attorney General, go public. So we do. Susan Walsh, our treasurer, brings out every receipt, every bank statement. An insurance fraud agent joins us, showing maps of all the places Veronica's scammed. Within 48 hours, we set the trap. Emergency HOA meeting, media invited, federal agents ready with warrants. Veronica goes scorched earth, trying to intimidate anyone who stands against her. Removing property markers, vandalizing my dock, filing false police reports, sending threatening notes to neighbors. But all she's doing is adding charges. Witness intimidation, obstruction, you name it. Finally, the day of the big meeting comes. Veronica tries to vote me out of my own neighborhood at a 6 a.m. executive session. Too bad. She forgot the law says all members must be notified. I walk in with a federal indictment in my hand. You're done, Veronica. Her lawyer's shaking. She tries one last time to threaten, waving a letter opener around like she's in some B-movie. But it's over. The FBI arrests her on live TV, in front of everyone she ever ripped off. The community erupts, some in anger, some in relief. Veronica gets 4 years in federal prison, has to pay back every penny she stole, loses her license for good. Our insurance company, after removing her fraudulent claims, lowers our premiums by 15%. Susan Walsh becomes our new president. Dr. Hawkins sets up a legal aid fund. We rebuild, we heal. 6 months later, the lake is peaceful again. My dock is for my family and my friends, just like my grandfather wanted. The community thrives, more transparent, more united than ever. I'm helping other neighborhoods now, sharing what I learned. Because the truth is, when you stand up to a bully, you protect everyone, not just yourself. And you know what? Justice really does taste like morning coffee and smells like honeysuckle on the breeze. But let me ask you, where's the line between protecting your rights and going too far? What would you have done in my shoes? Drop your own HOA war stories below, or tell me what you think. Did I go too far or not far enough? Let's talk about it.